I.
Alright. Just getting everything ready here. As I said in the chat, we're not starting until past, so primarily I just want to get warmed up and have a bit of casual conversation. What was the term? Shoot the breeze. And just a bunch of other things. So, I'm going to say this even though my friends hate it, but happy Friday. I'm trying not to say that anymore because either my friends will go, happy Friday, or they'll go, what's happy about it? So, there's that. To the friends who are upset, I am sorry. To those not, happy Friday. So, let's see here. Good. Setup's good. I decided on some piano this time. We're not going to be listening to music too long. We're going to be listening to the trailer most of the time, but we will be going through some other things as well, because the live letter did give us some nice little tidbits into the upcoming characters. So I will go through them as well alongside the trailer breakdown. I'm wondering if I should switch this music though, because it's nice music, but I can really hear my own tinnitus with this music. So, you know what? I'll leave it as is. It's not going to be there for long. If I have one piece of advice to impart, never get tinnitus. It's hell, for lack of a better word. So, be careful how you use these. Don't put the volume too high. If you're going to a concert, wear earplugs. I was always careful about loud noise. I never had loud noises or anything else like that. So I'm going to assume it was something in my past that triggered it. Maybe it was a very loud noise I received at some point. It's primarily in this ear, but it's become much more prevalent nowadays. Now that's, for me, my tinnitus is a constant, which goes 24/7. So the moment I hit the pillow, that's all I hear. So I'll even show you as well. I've had to resort to putting ambient sounds on in order to get to sleep at night. And I found the perfect one. So let's see here. So a lot of people with tinnitus, for example, they'll go through a number of home remedies to try and cope with it, essentially. Like, the best coping mechanism that I've explored is to not pay attention to it. So once you don't pay attention to the tinnitus, you don't hear it. It's weird to say that with a constant noise in your head, but it's in your head, so it never goes away. But when you're not paying attention to it, you don't notice it. And that happens to me a lot. If I'm engrossed in something, so if I'm like editing a video or something, I don't hear the tinnitus. I'm listening to the sounds of the video. But when you're sitting on your pillow and your entire bedroom is silent completely, the only thing you can hear is yourself. So you hear the tinnitus prevalently first and foremost. So it's been me for a while. So a lot of people, they'll try to get ambient noises to play during, well, they try and sleep. And I've tried this myself. I tried a number of different noises. I tried falling snow, I tried rain, I tried wind, I tried a number of different ambient sounds. None of them worked for me until I came across crickets. So I found a perfect video that the moment I turn the sound on, my tinnitus disappears entirely. All I hear is the cricket sounds. So I'll play it for you here. So that plays for me for about an hour. So let me turn this off just to give an example. So I'll be listening to that for about an hour. And it allows me to drift off to sleep. So this video will stop playing. And then I'll be fast asleep by then. But it completely eliminates my tinnitus. Like right now, with this playing, all I hear is that. I don't hear my tinnitus at all. So it's different for everybody, depending on the tinnitus you have. The moment I stopped it, now I realize my tinnitus is still there. It's different for everybody, so everybody's tinnitus is unique. So you have to find your own methods of dealing with it. But the best method, of course, is to ignore it. Don't pay attention to it. Which usually only happens if you're focused on something. From my experience, I have to be focused on something. So if I'm in the middle of playing a game, or if I'm going to be doing the stream, and I start really interacting with everybody, I forget this tinnitus is in there. But yeah, that's me rambling. So it's a horrible condition to live with, let me tell you. I'll be the first to admit, I've laid awake at night crying my eyes out because this noise is there. It's horrible because you can't get away from it. It's not like you can just run away from the sound source that's pissing you off. It's constantly there inside your mind and it doesn't go away. So the only thing I've done is to try and take care of my ears now. So I play everything at a much lower volume. And I've limited my time with the headset. Not the headsets are the cause of tinnitus, but loud sounds and constant sound use can attribute to it. Going to a big concert or something will really damage your ears. So that's why I'm grateful for earplugs. So whenever I'm listening to the Primals of FanFest, the earplugs are in. But I'm going to have to get high quality earplugs from now on, I think, because... But yeah, that's enough about me. I spent the last like 10 minutes ranting about my own tinnitus, but it's mainly just to get the word out that never come down with it. Take care of your ears. People always say take care of your eyes when it comes to looking at a computer screen. Oh, you'll damage your eyes. It's your ears you should be worried about. But either way, so... That was really weird. Okay. Alright. So we'll start now in a few minutes, but I'm just hanging around in game at the moment, just going through a number of things. There's been no changes to the in-game since the last time we were here, so there's nothing really to say about what's going on in-game. Although we do get some confirmations from the launch trailer about how we're going to be getting to Tyrell, which I'll go into during the trailer breakdown as well. And we got a number of images regarding some specific plot points that I will go through as well that were a surprise for me. Just put that closer. There we go. They were a surprise for me. They weren't what I expected, but it was also nice to get some tidbits as well, and a lot of people have been speculating about a number of different lore things, which I will dive into a bit, but for the most part I just want to break the trailer down. I think there's a concert over here. Do you know what? While we're here, I'm going to check out that concert. I'm not going to put the sound on, so performance is off. Okay. I did notice she was at the dock as well. Fairly certain she was at the dock waving us off, I think. I'll confirm that later. Well, I think there was a concert over here. I want to check out the concert. I'm not going to turn the music on, as I already stated. I do not want to get a ban or a copyright strike, because I've gotten that before. But there is something big going on over here, so I'll be interested to see what's going on. There's a lot of people dressed up as Emerald Pins. Unless this is just some sort of Unless it's just some sort of event. Oh, nice. Thank you for all the compliments. Hungry Luffy. Who's Hungry Luffy? I don't see Hungry Luffy. Okay, this must be some sort of a glamour event or something. It's nice to have little events that just pop up like this. It's always nice to see stuff like this. Everybody's very elaborately dressed as well. That's a nice glamour. I like that glamour. My little friend as well. Hello there. She's probably my favorite Lalafell around here. Wyrmlimion. I always talk to her every once in a while. So she's a Charlene scholar who... So I'm Wyrmlimion, an occasional lecturer at the studium. I specialize in national geography, including the history of the world's topography and climate transitions. I like to come here for a bit of fresh air between classes, but for some reason I'm asked for directions rather often. So I decided why not act as a guide, which is, I think, is really cute. So she usually comes here for some peace and quiet, and she ends up getting treated as a tour guide, which is cool. I'd probably do the same thing. Going back over to the boat. They should really give her a name. Haven't played 13 in a long time. I think I played 13 a couple of years after it released. So when it did a PC release. I kind of remember it. I only did one clear through of it. And I fully cleared 13.2 as well. I enjoyed 13.2. I haven't done Lightning Returns. I have it on Steam, but I've never played it, so it's probably a bit late now. I could have played it during the gap, but with DawnTrail this close, I'm not going to invest in another game. I'm mainly relaxing right now, so I'm not really playing much. So what I was focusing on until this afternoon, actually. So over the past week and a half, or ever since my last stream, I've been working on my next video, and I scripted it and I recorded all the dialogue for it. It ended up being well over an hour long. However, when I was editing it, I noticed that when I recorded the audio, I was pretty excited. My voice was pretty good at the beginning, and then I get more and more tired and more bored through the recording. So after the like 30 or 45 minute mark, I sound like a robot because I'm just like, my throat is so tired. And I remember that. I really should have stopped, but I kept recording because I wanted to get it all recorded. And I'm actually halfway through editing that voice as well, but I realized that the video was just boring. So when I was starting to edit some parts of it, so I decided to edit the first 10 minutes of it just to see what it'd be like. And to be honest, I was kind of bored with it. I mean, the subjects were interesting, but I felt it would be a boring video to release. So I've decided now to scrap it, and I'm going with a different idea. It was another video I wanted to do, so I've scripted that just about. I need to do a bit more research because I know the subject pretty much fully, but I want to do the last bit of research just in case I've forgotten something. But the video in question that I was going to make, I actually tried to make it 3 years ago in 2021. However, when I was halfway through making it, right, the subject of the video was what the server names of ff14 mean. So I did a full paragraph description of each server name and what it means in ff14 and the Final Fantasy series. So I tried to make that video in 2021. I even recorded all the dialogue in 2021. But then they started releasing more servers, so I decided, you know what, this is going to be a very long video. I'll put it on the side burner, and I completely forgot all about it. Then 3 or 4 years pass, and I decide to do the video again, now that we're getting new servers on what's the data center called? The darkness? Is it dark? No, the shadow data server? Yeah, so since we got those new servers and other servers got added to other data centers as well, I thought it'd be a good time to do the video. But to be honest, I was bored. Do you know what? I'll show you now. So, I'll show you the first couple of minutes of the video that I made, right? So, it honestly just, I felt bored making it. So, there's the dialogue. Well, that's 15 minutes of the dialogue. So that's the dialogue I edited. There's still over an hour of it to edit. But I made the start of the video. So, let's listen to this just while we're here, right? So, I have to change the, hang on, preview device. Preview device is 20, there we go, okay. Okay, so let's try playing the start of this video. So I've done 2 of the servers so far. So let's play it, okay? Final Fantasy XIV has an abundance of servers across its multiple data centers. Each has its own unique naming designation, which is directly tied to the lore of the game and the Final Fantasy series as a whole. In this video, we will go over each one of them in alphabetical order. First on the list is Adamantoids. They are a recurring enemy of the series, depicted as turtle creatures that have usually high HP and defensive stats. Some of the strongest ones are usually gigantic. In FF14, they can be found on many of the maps around the world, and are one of the stronger creatures new players encounter when beginning their journey. The Aegis appears in many games as a shield. It's also a named ability in many of these games. The Aegis shield made its appearance in FF14 as the Zodiac relic shield for the Paladin, a stalwart wall which none may pass. And then Alexander was going to be next. But essentially, as I went through the audio started to bore me severely. So I felt overall that the video would be boring to watch. I have a feeling somebody would watch like their own server and then they ditch the rest of the video. But it just felt like something nobody would sit through. Like, it was an hour long. And I don't think I'd sit through it. And I'm not going to make something that even I wouldn't sit through. So it felt more like a punishment than an actual video people would watch. So I said, you know what? I'm not making a video anymore. I'll make a subject that people may be interested in, which is the video I'm currently scripting, or finished scripting, but I just need to do the last research on it. But either way, so we're going to start up now in a second. Or not a second, 8 minutes, and we'll go through the entire trailer. I caught most of the live letter. I haven't watched it all. I watched the elements as it pertained to lore. I didn't watch the rest when it came to, I think the rest of it was mostly merchandise, and they showed off the Solution 9. What's it? The raid series. What the hell's the raid series called? I was gonna say Adelon. I think it's Adelon or something like that. But I thought that was pretty cool with all the crowds around. So it's like a Coliseum, which is really cool. So I'm looking forward to that raid series. I'd love if a fight like that had actual cutscenes in it as well, that when the phase is transitioning, it cuts to the crowd all just going nuts and stuff like that. So I wouldn't mind stuff like that as well. Of course, in the normal mode, we might actually get that. Sun's coming up. What time is it? Wait, it got... Oh, the weather just... Okay. No, never mind. The sun came up. Okay. So it's 8 o'clock. But a lot of the... No, I won't talk about it until we're ready. So. But if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask while we're just idling around here. I think I'm going to keep my glamour the way it is. My glamour is the glamour I chose in Newfound Adventure. So I think I'm going to keep it largely the way it is. My other characters have similar glamours. Like my melees have this glamour, and my casters have this glamour. And I'm largely consistent about the entire thing. Like, my dancer has that as well, so my ranged has that. But that might change depending on the new die system and the new gear that we end up getting. So, of course, I might end up with a chest piece or something that really complements my onion helm. So, and my glamours are all based around complementing the onion helm in the first place. CC says, I took this launch trailer plus a lot of system info in this live letter for me to finally get excited for DawnTrail. Can't wait 2 weeks for early access. A lot of people are in the same boat as you. Like, I saw a lot of people talking in Discord about how excited that this actually got them. And we're getting a lot of people who are returning to the game as well at this point, who haven't even done, like my friend Ran hasn't done patch 6.55, which I've chastised him for already. I called him a heretic. But a lot of people are coming back in that stage now that they're looking to actually get caught up with everything. So a lot of people are in the same boat as you. It's only really setting in now that the DawnTrail is actually on its way. Like, it set in for me the other week with the release of the promotional site, and the moment the countdown started as well, so with all the wallpapers, that's when it really set in for me. So I've been making my wallpapers as well out of the new custom art. I should finish my tea before I drink my drink. But yeah, you're in a boat with similar people. So a lot of people feel the same way. A lot of people took a break and they're coming back only now for DawnTrail. So there wasn't really much to do between 6.55 and now. So if you've already done everything, there's not really much to keep you invested in FF14. So you take a break, you relax, and then you come back when everything's starting up again. So no bother with that at all. There's no problem with that. But I'm glad the launch trailer got you excited. That's the important bit. If you're excited for it, that's what you want. Right, settings are okay. Good. It's been a long week. Suffering with allergies as well, so it's been a long week for me. It took me getting a steroid nasal spray in order for my nose to finally calm down. I kept waking up, my eyes were burning as well, so it's not good. I suppose before we start, I will touch upon a subject that I touched upon in one of my previous streams a couple of weeks ago. So, and the subject, why does it always bring up as NA and I'm on the Irish website? Whatever. It's the same thing anyway. Yeah. So yesterday, and I think it happened today as well, the FF14 servers are still under consistent DDoS attacks. So I said it a week ago or a week and a half ago, whenever my last stream was, that I was worried about the DawnTrail launch. And the fact that these DDoS attacks have not gone away and they've stayed consistent has me even more worried. So I'm really hoping a solution is found. It's a very tricky thing to resolve, but I really hope they're able to resolve it in some way that allows the impact on DawnTrail's early access to be mitigated. Because the majority of players who play FF14 are going to be in early access. So it's just going to make our lives a lot harder if the DDoS attacks are there. So I'm hoping this is resolved by then. But time will tell, and I'll be keeping an eye on this as well. Not that it'll help anything, but it's just going to tell me whether or not this is going to be bad or not. I used the free for day login period to grind out my missing Garo achievements on the PvP series awards. Felt burned out for so long I almost considered just skipping it. I'm the same thing about the PvP rewards, to be honest. I grinded out the first series and it felt like it went on forever. And I ended up getting the mount or the glamour or whatever it was, and I never used it. I got it and then I threw it into my glamour dresser or my armory. And I never touched it because it didn't go with my helm. And since then, I don't grind out the series PvP anymore because I'm usually going to end up grinding out something I'm never going to use. So, and I don't collect mounts or anything else like that, so it doesn't hold that much appeal for me. I know people do grind it out and they do use the stuff and they're good at PvP, so there's that. I suppose I just can't find the time anymore. And yes, you see, it is a concern that the DDoS is still happening. But all we can do is wait and see. But anyway, the time is now 7:30 in the evening, IST, Irish Standard Time. So good evening everybody and happy Friday. And to those who are working on the weekends, my condolences as well, but still happy Friday. So, I wasn't going to stream today, but after that launch trailer I got really excited and I wanted to stream. So, the subject of this stream is going to be going over the DawnTrail launch trailer. So I'm going to be fully dissecting it from a lore perspective because it gave us a whole bunch of new information about DawnTrail itself. And it gave us a broader picture about what we're going to be seeing and some of the side character elements of it as well. I'll also be going over some of the lore elements that pertains to the trailer and also DawnTrail as a whole that were released in the live letter as well. So they gave us a nice little bit of information in regards to the background of some of the main characters that are going to be there as well. So, looking forward to that as well. Now, there's a piece of art I need to bring up, so for 14, done, because I'm going to need this later. Trail, that's the one. Open image. There we go. Alright, there we go. Okay. So I suppose the first thing first is we'll pause the music and we are going to play the DawnTrail launch trailer. So we'll play it fully first, then we're going to dissect it a piece at a time. So, chat up. Let's begin the FF14 DawnTrail launch trailer and then we'll dissect it.
Peggy 16.
Well, for once, the fate of the world doesn't rest on our shoulders. We might even get a chance to enjoy ourselves.
Do not be so quick to relax.
Just wait, Papa. When this contest is said and done, it'll be your daughter who sits the throne. Me, Wyrmlimion.
And so does our ship cast off from the docks. In retrospect, of course, that battle against the storm would prove a fitting prelude to the coming contest for the throne.
Compete in the right of succession, the outcome of which will decide who takes my place as Dawn Servant.
We are blessed siblings, the elevated chosen.
Our nation can change for the better.
I am bound to no one.
Wyrmlimion, protector of peace and soon to be Dawn Servant.
A waste of time. I can always take what I need later.
Our nation is a fortress, and its people the bricks with which it is built. It is through embracing innovation that we will usher Tuli Yolal onto a more prosperous future.
Its people lived as gods, never aging, never dying, free from hardship and conflict.
All this time, it was here, the city of gold.
A golden light. Could it be?
Much about the key remains shrouded in mystery.
What in the world is that?
What is this relic of theirs? Who made it? And to what end?
I will be the next Dawn servant, and I'll protect my people's happiness to the last!
With your strength, could you have held fast to that which is dear without sacrifice?
Okay, so a very good launch trailer. As far as launch trailers go, that's definitely one of the top ones for me. There's a lot to dissect, and it gave us a lot of information regarding new elements and the current elements that we know about in the story. So it gave us a lot of clarification on some things and new mysteries regarding long questions that we've always thought about in FF14. So, the first things first, in regards to the dissection, let's go through it piece by piece. So I'll mute it first because we don't really need to listen to it right now. So, the trailer starts off in Charlian, and it starts with us all boarding this merchant vessel. So, this is the first clarification for us that we're going to be actually departing Charlian at the beginning of the DawnTrail quest storyline on this brig, essentially, this merchant vessel. So it's a seemingly confirming whether or not we are, well, we all thought that we were going to be departing on the smaller vessel that we saw in game, so specifically the ones that are on screen there. So up until that point we thought we were getting on one of these and we were going to sail this across, primarily because we saw Grahatia in front of one of those boats working on it. However, the trailer has taught us otherwise, and it makes sense further on in the trailer, because when you see the small boat here and we're all on board and we're all sailing across, this makes sense primarily because the sea around Tyroliol is too shallow for a brig with the displacement of a merchant vessel like the one that we saw there. So the odds are we're going to be sailing this merchant vessel to just off the coast of Tyroliol, then we're going to be boarding a smaller ship to take us into the city, because this thing's too big to dock where we need to go, essentially. Hey Root, glad to see it, but it's also, yeah, because the water's so dangerous. Now, that's the other thing. The moment I saw this live this morning, I was sitting there having my roll, enjoying my lunch, watching the trailer, and the moment I saw this scene here, where the merchant vessel is going through these turbulent seas, I immediately cast my mind back almost 15 years to the opening cinematic of 1.0. And this is an important thing as well, because I wanted to bring this up, because it echoed this scene to me a lot. So I found this video here for the Wyrmlimion opening cinematic, and keep in mind this was actually the only place we could start in during the beta. So during the beta of 1.0 we could only start in Wyrmlimion. So this scene came up, and most people probably wouldn't be familiar with this. So everybody's on the boats in 1.0, and this is where we first hear Highland as well. So, and they did echo this during Endwalker as well, but I felt that scene further echoed it because of what's going to happen next. So, you have our character under the deck here. The cutscenes in 1.0 get so differently.
Here. Feel. Think.
I think I've watched this cutscene through my own character a million times, because it was pretty much the only thing we could do before the game launched. So she's watching it in the cutscenes here, but I want to bring your attention to this point here. So this was echoed in Endwalker, where you're walking up here, same music was playing, and then Highland was walking across an Endwalker, but it's different in 1.0 because the deck is actually filled with her. This is where her echo is.
Hurry back to your cabin, lest you become
But
deceived.
essentially, it's the same type of merchant vessel in the middle of a storm.
You won't hold much longer!
Everybody had a British accent back then as well.
A brave one.
So they're fighting the Amone here. The jellyfish. On the deck. All swollen deck. I have a feeling that this exact scene is going to happen in DawnTrail. So I have a feeling that we're going to be in this storm and we're going to be called upon to do combat, and these things are going to start swarming the deck again. But the primarily reason these things swarm the deck is because of Leviathan as well. But I'll let this is all I was thinking.
My stations, man!
Yeah, the cutscenes of game lost.
God's fulfilled.
Make yourself useful, Scrag!
Scrag. And then you do your fight. So we fight the... I remember this scene like it was running away.
They're running away! Now they're coming back!
And they all start forming with it.
What's going on? Have I seen anything wrong?
It's Leviathan. Brace yourself.
Brace yourself!
This isn't involved with the trailer, but I'm going to mainly watch it because I haven't seen it. The Lalafell was always my essentially, going back to the trailer had me echoing that experience from way back then. So
Be so quick.
you have this scene where they're sailing across, ships getting turbulent
Do not
waters.
be so quick to relax.
Just wait, Papa. When this contest is said and done, it'll be your daughter who sits the throne. Me, Wyrmlimion.
She's very cocky about this whole thing, isn't she? I mean, let's not forget what's at stake here. We're going to Toral to decide the new ruler and the person who's going to be ruling over this nation of people. And we're on her side. Now, I've no doubt she has great intentions. She says she's a peaceful person who wants to do it. But being a peaceful person in FF14 is not enough to be a ruler. We've seen rulers learn this lesson long ago. We saw Nanamo learn... What do you mean the video is too loud? Sorry. Okay, I'll lower it down. So, going back to her, right? Yeah, I can see what you mean by too loud. Okay. But I have a feeling that she's doing all this with the best of intentions. But she feels like she doesn't have a choice because she knows somebody else is going to try and fight for the throne. That's going to drag Toral into conflict. But I have a feeling she's not ready for it. She has good intentions, but she's too peaceful for it. And we've seen Nanamo, for example, learn this lesson long ago. She was a very peaceful person. But she got a rough awakening in that regard. And she became much more hardened from her experience. So I have a feeling she's going to get a rude awakening. But I have a feeling that as she journeys around, as this contest reaches its conclusion, she's going to determine to herself whether or not she's actually the right fit. Just winning the contest is not enough. I mean, is she doing it for the right reasons? That's my question. And this is something that she may learn during the actual journey itself. But she is pretty confident. She's pretty cocky about it as well. But that's all she is. She's confident and cocky. That's not enough. She'll get knocked down. It doesn't help that she has a powerhouse like us in her corner. We're arguably the strongest person in this tournament. But that doesn't help the situation with her. It'll make her cocky. So, we proceed on. The ship has sailed through. We've switched onto the little Charlian dinghy. And we're sailing into Toroliol. And you have, standard setting that you see in Toroliol that we've all seen already. A road to adventure beckons once more. A beginning anew of our journey. We're going to a dungeon by the looks of it, fighting an Ochu. And this looks like the southern region because we're fighting a barrel tender as well. Looks like a fun fight as well. So, a promise of a thrilling journey. That's what they've been promising for a while. And we finally get voice dialogue of him. So I'm going to let his voice be played again before I talk.
You four will compete in the right of succession.
I find it interesting that the trailer is choosing to show Estinian fighting Gulul Jaja. So, it's not us fighting this time. So, the cinematic trailer shows us fighting him. And now, in-game, this is likely an in-game cutscene, it's going to be Estinian fighting him. Now, we still don't know much about Estinian's part in all this. We don't know which side he's on. We do know he's participating in the contest, because we saw him hunting that large beast in the cinematic, and we see him fighting Gulul Jaja here. But we don't know exactly what his part is in all of this, and we don't know whose side he's on. So, let me play it again.
The outcome of which will decide who takes my place as Dawn Servant. You four will compete in the right of succession. The outcome of which will decide who takes...
Now, he says you four will take part in this contest to determine the next Dawn Servant. So essentially he's addressing all the contestants here. So you have Wyrmlimion here. You have... what's his name again? Hang on, let me bring him up just to make sure I don't forget his name. Because I keep forgetting his name. No, it's Dawn Servant. What's his name again? Names. I'm very bad with names. There he is. It's Bakul Jaja is the person that we're going over. So we see him here. We see Wyrmlimion here. Her brother is likely somewhere in here. And there's more than likely a fourth person who is standing around here as well. As you can see, people are congregated around their representatives. So we're standing behind Wyrmlimion. But I want to bring attention to the dialogue and the scene that's actually playing here. Now, keep in mind that trailers like this are always out of context. So the voices that you're hearing are not necessarily in tune with what's displaying on the screen. So he says, you four will be involved in this contest to determine the next Dawn Servant. And you see the contestants standing here before Galul Jaja as he gives this speech. However, I want to bring your attention to the figures that are standing in front of the throne. So we've seen this stone tablet before. We saw Krile with one as they were attempting to hunt down the City of Gold, and we see it again in the trailer. However, there are actually 5 figures here. So he says, you four are going to be taking part.
Which will decide.
But there's 5 figures holding tablets here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's a 5th person right behind here who's also holding a tablet. So he says 4 people. But that's not to say that a 5th person won't join. I mean, we don't know what the rules of this contest are. In all likelihood, he'll say, you 4 people are vying for the contest of Dawn Servants. But he's saying it in a different cutscene. And then all of a sudden, a 5th person joins the scene and says, I want to take part in this. So, we keep going on the premise that there's 4, but I think another party is going to get involved. And this party may be related to Estinian. And why he was fighting Galul Jaja. But we still don't know the reason why the supporters of the claimants are the ones fighting Galul Jaja. I would have thought that the claimants themselves would be the ones fighting, but instead it's the warriors serving the claimants that are doing the fighting, which is, to me, interesting. But I elaborated on this month ago that it may be just a test of strength to determine your character, to allow you to serve the claimant. So it doesn't matter if you win or lose against Galul Jaja. He wants to determine your worth. You're being weighed, essentially. Now, the fact that I think there's 5 people here at least holding tablets tells me there's going to be some unknown 5th element that'll jump in here. Now, we have a few characters so far. So, the first one is... Let me put this at extra large because I can barely see them. Okay, so the first character is Wyrmlimion. So, with the help of her childhood friend Ernville, this beloved member of Tiroliel's ruling family has recruited the Warrior of Light to aid in her right of succession. Wyrmlimion must win the throne if she wishes to preserve a peaceful nation for her people, and so has joined the contest against rival claimants of formidable ability. So, take from that, essentially, what you will. So, the second claimant is Bakul Jaja. Now, lacking direct ties to the Dawn Servant, this vainglorious 2-headed claimant earned his place in the right of succession by triumphing in a martial tournament. He is loudly contemptuous of other peoples, his derision of inferior one-heads extending to even his fellow Mamulja. Now that goes to the next part of this here, so let me play his dialogue.
Our blessed siblings, the elevated chosen.
So, this siblings are what is referred to as Mamulja who have 2 heads. They're usually called siblings because they're 2 individuals inhabiting one body, essentially. 2 heads. They both have their own personalities and stuff like that. But this piece of lore makes it interesting that he doesn't really have a good outlook of inferior one heads, extending even to his fellow Mamulja. So I have a feeling that he looks down upon anybody who's not Mamulja, but he looks down upon anybody who's not a sibling, who doesn't have 2 heads. So it's more than likely the only person Bakul Jaja actually respects are his fellow siblings and Gulul Jaja, the Dawn Servant. So he seems like, yeah, I agree, CC. He's the one. He's going to be the warmonger. He seems to be the one that is definitely going to be the warmonger. Now, as you can see in the trailer here, he's standing with his fellow Mamulja, so he only has Mamulja with him, and he earned his place in this contest through a martial tournament, which is interesting. So it's likely they held a martial tournament some point in the past, and he was the victor. So there seems to be multiple ways that you can actually earn the right to participate in this tournament. One is being related to the Dawn Servants, so she's the adopted child, for example, and he won a tournament to earn his right. But this may extend to a lot of other people as well, which is why I go back to the 5 tablets that are here. And you can only see 4 because one's behind, but this guy's definitely holding one out. So there's definitely a 5th party here that we don't know about. Now, to go on to the other character here, who also appears in the artwork. Where is he? It's interesting that Bakul Jaja doesn't appear in the artwork for DawnTrail. Specifically, this artwork here. So Bakul Jaja doesn't appear, but this character does. And this character's name is Zoral Ja. He's called Zoral Ja because he only has 1 head. If he was a sibling, he'd be Jaja. Okay, let's go with his lore here. The first promise of Toroliol. Zoral Ja serves as a commander of the Landsguard, the redoubtable warriors who preserve the nation's peace. His martial prowess is rumored to even rival that of the Dawn Servant, with many regarding him as the foremost candidate in the right of succession. So it sounds like he's the 5th person who's going to be participating in this tournament. The fact that he's a candidate in the right of succession as well, because we were only referring to 4. Wuklamat, her brother Quona, and then we knew the 3rd one was I keep forgetting his name, Bakul Jaja. So that was the 3, but we never knew who the 4th was. But the trailer and everything else has confirmed that Zoral Jaja is the 4th participant, which is why he's also standing here in front of the Dawn Servant. So you have 1, 2, 3, and Kawana is likely off screen or over here. And then you have a 5th person who's going to be participating as well, but we don't know who it is just yet. So we don't know exactly what his motivations are, but he seems to be somebody who serves the peace as well. So let's continue playing here. He comes into the frame here in a second.
We are blessed siblings, the ultimate chosen.
Our nation can change for the better.
I am bound to no one.
Now, is that character? Yeah. So that's Bakul Jaja getting served by the looks of it, isn't it? Yeah, so that's Bakul Jaja getting served by Zoral Jaja in the trailer for some reason. So they likely came to blows at some point and he got the better of him, showing exactly how effective a warrior he actually is. So that's an interesting scene as well.
Wuklamat, protector of peace and soon to be Dawn Servant.
That's a very bold claim, isn't it? Like, Wuklamat, protector of the peace and soon to be Dawn Servant. That's literally like me walking on stage in a Pokemon TCG tournament and saying, my name is Wyrmlimion. I am going to be the champion of this tournament. That's essentially what she's saying. So she's, yeah, she has confidence and all, but she's, I don't know. She's not. I don't think she's going to be the one. I don't think she's going to get there. I think she's going to get to the end, and we're not going to do it. Like, we're going to be fine in martial combat, but I don't think she has what it takes to be the Dawn Servant.
A waste of time. I can always take what I need later.
That's an interesting scene, isn't it? This is happening in Tiroliol, but we don't know the context behind it. So they might have just been arguing about a number of things. Maybe he insulted Gulul Jaja. She got pissed off and she decided to lash out. Just shows her immaturity as well, though. So a path to discovery. That can mean multiple things as well. The fact that Wyrmlimion is shown there as well. A path to discovery. Discovering who you are. Discovering what kind of person you're going to be. Discovering whether or not... It doesn't matter if you're entitled to be leader. Whether or not you deserve it. And whether or not you can be the leader of a nation like this.
Our nation.
And the tablets that come again, of course. Which are leading people to the City of Gold. I'm assuming.
Is a fortress, and its people.
And you have the lovely dragon here. Frozen in ice, interestingly enough. We don't know the exact story behind this, but it's the first time we've seen it.
The bricks with which it is built.
Yeah. Zoral has a lot of dialogue.
Bricks with which it is built.
In this trailer. But he strikes me as the character who would be the Dawn Servant. He seems to be a very mature individual. He has the strength, he has the maturity, he has the knowledge, and more than likely, because of his station as the commander of the Landsguard who preserved the nation's peace, because of the station that he holds, he likely has the respect of the people of Tural. So I could definitely see him winning, not only for his martial prowess, but because he deserves it. He has the character of a leader, somebody who inspires the people around them. Can Wyrmlimion honestly say that if she stood up there, that she inspires the people? I don't see it. I don't see her inspiring anybody. I mean, she's fun to be around, but that's all she is. This guy, on the other hand, inspires. He's a leader. Because you can already see he's a commander of the Landsguard. He's definitely already got the leadership qualities. He's definitely worthy of the throne, and I think he will be the one. He's the one that will preserve the peace as well. So Wyrmlimion will realize, I want to preserve the peace, but Zoral is a better person. He's a more mature person. He's a leader. He's the one that will maintain the peace, but he also has the strength and the fortitude to rule, which Wyrmlimion does not have. Zoral sounds like the most level-headed of all the claimants. Wook and Bakul are too aggressive, full of themselves, and Catboy is too future-thinking to throw away traditions after studying in Sharlayan. That's another thing as well. Kawana appears to be a person who is actually trying to drag his nation into the future. So he strikes me as a person who is trying to... Essentially, like they're living in the Iron Age. Oh, sorry, it's probably not. They're living in the Stone Age. He's trying to drag them into the Iron Age. But I have a feeling that he's not going to be leadership qualities either. So he's going to try his best, I'm assuming. But I don't think he has the qualities either. And I have a feeling that people will react negatively to him. But this isn't an election. Let's not forget, this is a contest to determine the Dawn Servant. So whoever wins will sit the throne of the Dawn Servant. But we don't know the criteria for winning. So it's not just about martial prowess. The Dawn Servant is weighing everybody, and then he'll decide based on everything who the next Dawn Servant will be, because he wants a person who will succeed him but will maintain the peace together. So he means well. Yeah, like Cece said, he means well, but he isn't going to be doing the right way. But now we have the new element that's coming in as well, which is elaborating specifically on this character who we have been wondering about for a long time. So she's next.
Can change for the better. But I need later. Embracing innovation that we will usher to
The bricks with which it is built.
It is through embracing innovation that we will usher Tuli Yolal onto a more prosperous future.
I have a feeling that's Kawana talking. It sounds like him. So it sounds like he wants to, he wants to usher innovation, but do they really need it? That's the question. I mean, granted, they have this neighbor in Solution 9 who is very technologically advanced, but do they require to be pulled into the future like this?
Its people lived as gods, never aging, never dying, free from hardship and conflict.
All this time.
Now, I'm going to play this again because this is a very important bit.
Its people lived as gods, never aging, never dying, free from hardship and conflict.
Its people lived as gods, never aging, never dying, free from... What was it exactly? Free from...
Dying, free from hardship and conflict.
Free from hardship and conflict. When I heard those words, I immediately thought of two civilizations. The first one was a civilization we saw in Endwalker, which was ancient Elpis. Nigh immortal beings who had freed themselves from largely misery or anything like that. They were pretty stoic, and they lived seemingly forever if they wanted to. But we don't know exactly who's talking either. So that was my first thought. My second thought was the ancient Alligans. Now, the reason I'm thinking of the Alligans is because towards the end of the Allagan Empire's reign, the Alligans unlocked the secrets of immortality. So when Emperor Xande was raised from the dead, he wasn't raised from the dead until the secrets of immortality were unlocked, because they wanted to raise him, but they wanted him to be immortal. So once they unlocked the secrets of immortality, they raised Emperor Xande from the dead, reanimated, and he was made immortal. So the Alligans can easily be said to have lived as gods. They live forever because they unlocked the secrets of immortality. However, the secrets of Allagan immortality and the fact that they even had it is not a subject that's well known to everybody. But it started making me think about a number of things. So, if we take this for... Maybe it's nothing to do with either of them. So maybe it has nothing to do with ancient Elpis, or not Elpis, the ancients. Or maybe it has nothing to do with Allag either. Although there are top two candidates in terms of technologically advanced civilizations that would have technology on this caliber. But I still am largely leaning towards the Allagan Empire. But, hang on a second. I want to think about something for a second, because I only thought of this a minute ago, actually, now that we're looking at it. So, let's see. Do you know what? Let me get the encyclopedia. This will make things easier. The encyclopedia always comes in clutch when I need to read something like this. So, it's book time. So, the reason I'm bringing out the book, turning it to the page on the Allagan civilization, is because I want to think about something here for a second in regards to the end of the Allagan Empire. So, as I just mentioned, during Xande's second rule, which is the twilight of the Allagan Empire, the secrets of immortality were unlocked. Now, if we go all the way back to before... Yep. So, Princess Selena. So, at the end of the Allagan Empire, after the Empire fell, after the calamity happened, Princess Selena fled her homeland, and she passed on her bloodline to Grahatia's tribe, which is why it continued on to Grahatia to the very day. But I'm thinking, she passed on her genetic legacy, sure, but are we sure Princess Selena wasn't an immortal? Is it entirely possible? I was only thinking about this now, and stop me if I'm going a bit too far. But what are the odds of this being Princess Selena? What are the odds of this actually being the same princess of the end of the Allegan Empire, living in Solution 9, which I've already stated may have ties to the Allegan Empire? Like, we don't really know what happened to her. Yeah, and exactly, her eyes should be red, and her eyes aren't really red in the trailer either. So if we go to... yeah, her eyes aren't really red. But we don't know if this red eyes is a side effect of being of pure Allegan blood. Now, if I think about it, let's think about the clones for a moment. So, I want to confirm this actually. I don't remember what color their eyes were. So let me exit out of this for a second. And we want to go to google.ie. And ff14. Allegan Empire. Une. Does Une have red eyes? It's probably not the biggest image. I should really look for a cutscene one. I need a cutscene of her. Do you know what? I'm in game. Let me get a cutscene of her. Give me a second. So, I don't remember whether or not... somebody stop me if Une and Doga's eyes were red. So, did they have red eyes? I don't remember. I'm subscribed to the idea that she's really Ultimate or Pastroth, since they both have doubts there's an Allegan influence in the New World. That's entirely possible as well. A lot of people have been starting to state, because everybody's speculating right now, that she could be one of the last surviving of the Asian Convocation. But let me double check. But I'm not really sure if the red eyes are a side effect of the Allegan bloodline being passed. Like, or did all Allegan royalty have red eyes? I know it's called the Allegan Eye, but was that after the fact or not? So let me just go to my private chambers real quick. I just want to see, because I couldn't find a picture of her. So this should be under New Era, Crystal Tower, Light of... I think it's Light of Hope. No, World of Darkness at the end. Yeah, obtaining them was a significant portion because he only has one red eye because the bloodline has severely depleted at that point. But they passed on their blood legacy to him, which is why he now has two red eyes. Oh, this is afterwards. They're out. Okay. We need to go back. Or maybe it's at the end here. Yeah, maybe we'll see them here. I just want to confirm that they have red eyes, because then that'll just confirm whether or not I'm seeing what I should be seeing. Well, he's a clone. Never mind him. Are they gone at this point? No. Yeah, Graha, shut up. And more clones are here. Okay. Your eye is resonating. Yep. Okay, where's the other two? Sid was pretty good with that little mini gun dagger, isn't he? They show up here, I think, don't they? Come on. Hero. Point blank in the face. Do they show up at this point? I don't remember. Come on. I think they do. Oh. He doesn't have red eyes. Back to her, come on. She kind of has red eyes, but they're not as prominent as Grahatia's. Okay. Oh, I need a better close-up picture of her eyes. So they're about to get sucked into the world of darkness. So let's skip over that. I need to get a better picture of them when they're talking to Graha. So yeah, it's around here. Okay. Or are they running away now? No, they're running away. That's too far. Okay. We need to go back to here. So I just need a picture of their eyes. Yeah, so she should be awake then, and then they're going to... Yeah, but they're not... If you look at their eyes were not as prominent as Grahatia's, and we'll see this now. So I have a feeling that Grahatia's eyes are an anomaly, caused about by the passing on of the Allegan bloodline into his tribe. Yeah, alright, there's Nero being entirely corrupted. Come on, give me a close... Yeah, so his eyes are red, but they're not that red. They're not blood red, like a vampire, like Grahatia. So we'll get some close-ups of them in a second, but I'm just trying to confirm whether or not this theory has any legs. Poor Nero. Come on. Yeah, right. His eyes are red. No, I don't want to stop now. Yeah. So his eyes are red. Yeah, they're pretty red. Now that you look at them. I want her to wake up though. Pretty sure her eyes are red as well. But they're not as red. Yeah, so alright. Open your eyes, my dear. There you go. Good girl. Okay, her eyes are pretty red. But Grahatia's eyes are so much more red than that. So I think I'll hold on to that for later. Always need a picture of eyes. There we go. There's some eyes. Thank you. Okay. Right, we'll skip out this cutscene. Alright, so we've confirmed that she has red eyes. And Doga have red eyes as well. So, let's see. Okay. Where is it? Alright. Let's see if this has any legs at all. Right? So, Selena, according to lore, is a descendant of Xande, just like Une and Doga. Where was it? It was here. Yeah, there we go. Right, her eyes aren't red. So this might be a deal breaker, but let's just run with this for a minute. So I'm interested in this. So, though the worldwide calamity had claimed the lives of the majority... I should put some music on because I sound really bad on my own. So, though the worldwide calamity had claimed the lives of the majority of the Empire's population, including those of the royal bloodline, there was one descendant from Xande I who survived the quakes, the young Princess Selena. Sharp-witted for her age, the princess was quick to realize the true implications of the fall of the circus tower, and the fact that it had not been truly destroyed, only buried. While the spire served to trap the horrors within, it also served to preserve them. Lacking the means to destroy the tower, she instead chose to utilize the power that had been granted to her via her ancestors' most unholy pact. For as long as the blood of the Xande line remained intact, there would ever be a force which could keep the cloud of darkness under control. Utilizing the remnants of Allegan biotechnology, Princess Selena transferred her bloodline and the power it held to a trusted ally, with hopes that it would endure until it was required again. Proof of this power became known as the Allegan Eye, and can still be seen today in many of those with ancestral ties to the Mikute Seekers of the Sun G tribe. So, that's Selena's story. Selena doesn't really have much of a story, to be honest. All that we know of her is that she was a child descendant. Yeah. So, yeah. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So, she is a descendant of Zande I, just like Une and Dogar. Or rather, Une and Dogar were born late. So, the point of it is, she transferred her bloodline to a member of the G tribe, and that persisted all the way to Grahatia, who had one Allegan Eye because the bloodline was so thin at this point. Une and Doga then transferred the bloodlines they held to him. That's why he has two Allegan Eyes and he has full control over the Crystal Tower. Now, we don't know what happens to Selena afterwards, but going back to my original theory, with the secrets of immortality unlocked already, it's likely she was hanging around Zande's palace for a long period of time after he was resurrected. It's highly likely, given the fact that she's a princess of the Allegan Empire, the odds of Selena being granted immortality, just like the other members of the Imperial Court were as well, is highly likely. Because there was multiple individuals as part of Zande's court who were granted immortality. His personal guard, for instance, and multiple others. So, is there any legs to the possibility that Selena survived? Well, she did survive. We know she survived the calamity. She passed her bloodline on, but we don't know what happened to her afterwards, and this was thousands of years ago. Is it entirely plausible that in the wake of the calamity, with nothing else tying her to Eorzea, and wanting to just literally disappear or hide away, she travelled literally off the map and ended up going far west and ending up in Tyrell, and then either taking over or founding the civilization that would build up in and around Solution 9, which is why it looks like a successor to the Allegan Empire, because it's so technologically advanced. So, what if that is Selena and then got bodyjacked by a Convocation member? That's an interesting theory as well, CC. I mean, don't forget the Ascians are very adept at taking the corpses of the dead and utilizing them. So that's entirely possible as well. But I like this theory a lot because we don't really know much about her, and we did get a clip of her during the live letter, and it states, in the course of their journey, the Warrior of Light will encounter this maiden shrouded in mystery. What secrets lie behind that tinge of melancholy in her gentle gaze? See the way it focuses on her eyes? The wording focuses on her eyes as well, her gentle gaze. Don't forget, they love to do stuff like this. They love to give us little subtle hints like this. They're alluding to her eyes. Maybe her eyes are hidden. Maybe she changed the colour of her eyes to hide the fact that she's a descendant of Allag. You never know. But what if it's true? I mean, she's a Hur. The Allegan royal house was Hurs. Zande was a Hur. It's entirely possible that this is Selena. Or, as Cece just said, it could be like her corpse being inhabited by an Ascian. I mean, we've never seen the Lesser Ascians body snatch, as it were. We've only seen the Unsundered do it. We've never seen the Sundered do the body snatching before, as far as I'm aware. But we never really saw much of them, to be honest. So it's entirely possible that could be the case as well. But I'm happy with the theory that this could be Selena. So Princess Selena, the maiden, enigmatic maiden, Princess Selena, and that Solution 9 and everything built up around it is the Allegan Empire, elements of the Allegan Empire who have evolved after a couple of thousand years. So let's continue the trailer from where we were. So we're going back to this. Or let me skip ahead because I want to go back on that subject as well.
The city of gold.
Very advanced. Very advanced. And this as well caught me by surprise. I wasn't expecting to see stuff like this. A gigantic airship, multiple Saw crafts manned by people in very advanced looking suits. Solution 9, or whatever the heck this nation is going to call itself, is so advanced it's not even funny. I think it has to be the remnants of Allag evolved over thousands of years, and this is the result, because it looks so much like what Allagan technology would look like. Although, this as well, do you see this? The way it lights up like that. We've seen one other piece of technology light up like that. And it was the technology related to Mach. So the nation of Mach, which is in the Void Ark series. We've seen their craft light up like this. The Void Ark, Primus Hospitality, we saw stuff like this. But, like, the fact that this, whatever this is, has been sitting just north of Tyroliol and has only gotten involved now is really weird to me, because, as I was saying in my last video, you wouldn't just have a nation like this sitting just north, not doing anything, and now they're only invading now that there's a contest to assign a new Dawn Servant. It's really weird. We don't know where these people have come from, we don't know what their intentions are, and we don't even know who they descended from. But I'm going to go with the Allagan theory. I'm going to say that these are the Allagan Empire, or the remains of the Allagan Empire. That a small colony was in Tyrol when the Empire fell, but they became independent. And somehow, Princess Selena, she more than likely had access to information that pointed out that this colony was in Tyrol. So she went over there, and she's immortal, so she kept ruling it to this very day. Alright, let's continue on.
A golden light. Could it be?
And look at that.
Could it be?
Look at that armor. These things are so advanced it's not even funny. We've never seen such a technologically advanced civilization, and these weapons are interesting, aren't they? They look like beam rifles. I don't know who these people are, but they're miles ahead of everything else we've seen. Like, even the civilizations we saw in Ultima Thule likely don't even compare to these guys. Like, it's madness. And you had that guy shooting around, and this is Tyroliol, so this is likely a full-on invasion and assault happening on Tyroliol. It could be for a number of reasons. Maybe it's a response to a new Dawn Servant being crowned. Maybe they just thought that the time is nigh for invading Tyroliol. You never know. And you see her here. Ooh. You see her here interacting with something, so she may be involved in a fight as well. You never know. But I'm just gonna call it. I'm gonna call her Princess Selena. Now, I want to go back before we do anything else to the scene where we saw and where we started this theory in the first place, because I wanted to talk about Kryl now.
Its people lived as gods, never aging, never dying, free from hardship and conflict.
So, the story of DawnTrail, like, there's multiple elements as we're going into DawnTrail. One of the elements is regards to Kryl and Galuf Baldessian, and exactly what Galuf's history has been in Toral, but it also goes to Kryl's history. And I think the fact that Kryl is being featured in this trailer here, and it's showing her from multiple angles, and it's showing these two Lalafels as well, I think it's pointing out that Kryl actually came from Toral, or specifically whoever this civilization is that was or is ruling over the City of Gold. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because for a long time we have known that Kryl was an orphan. She grew up in the orphanage that was run by Galuf Baldessian. I looked at the scene and immediately I thought the following. So, they're running along. They're running through this portal here, the male and the female. So I think these are Kryl's parents, as Cece just pointed out there. And she's looking back in tears. I think the reason that she's looking back in tears, because right behind her, she's looking back at Galuf Baldessian holding baby Kryl. And she's like, take care of Kryl. And then she passes through the portal to go to wherever it is she ends up going. And Galuf takes her back to Sharlayan and raises her in his orphanage, and then she finally adopts his name and he becomes her adopted father. So I think that's exactly what's happening here. It does look like an echo memory, so it's entirely possible that we end up finding the City of Gold. We walk to this point and Kryl is thinking about something, and then all of a sudden her echo and our echo trigger and we see this cutscene, and they're like, are those my parents? Because she's probably too young to even remember her parents. I don't think she even realized she was actually from here. I don't think Galuf ever told her. So, this is something interesting that I liked seeing. And, yeah, the fact that, I don't know what they're passing through. It looks like a Stargate. But they're entering some sort of, they're entering something. But we don't know what it is. But I do want to take you to a point here.
The City of Gold.
About the key remains shrouded in mystery.
Yeah, they start talking about this key, but I'll get to that in a second.
What in the world is that?
Now, you may have missed this, actually, but pay attention to who's actually in this cutscene. So you have... Oh, go back. So you have Grahatia, finally turned up. Then you have Alphino. Then you have Urianger, Thancred. I'm going to assume it's Kawana. Then you have Alizé's over here. Warrior of Light standing right here. Wuklamat's here. Estinian's here. Erenville is here. There's a little baby Mumulja standing here. But most importantly is Y'shtola is standing right at the front and center. So I was wondering where the heck she's gone. Because she didn't wave goodbye to us when we left on the ship. And she wasn't on the merchant vessel with us either during that cutscene. So, the fact that her and Grahatia show up here is confirming to us that by the time we get to the City of Gold, Y'shtola and Grahatia have joined the search. But we are under the impression here that there's two teams here at the moment. So, and Estinian's here as well, which is interesting. So, we have Kawana and Wuklamat, and Y'shtola for some reason is just here. She probably heard about the City of Gold and she got interested. But it's nice to confirm because we weren't really sure where she is. She's been the primary scion who's been MIA. So it's nice to know that she'll turn up by the City of Gold. I'd say she's going to turn up late, the same time as Grahatia. I'd say they're both going to show up at the same time. Now, she likely heard about the technologically advanced City of Gold. She's like, yeah, they're going to help me get to other worlds. This key they keep talking about. So,
What is this relic of theirs? Who made it? And to what end?
the moment I saw this key, one object of Final Fantasy XIV popped into my head. I mean, it looks like a chalice, first off, or an hourglass of sorts. But there is only one object in FF14 that popped directly into my head. And I'll show it to you right now. The object that popped into my head was the Aetherite that's sitting in Amarot. Now look at the designs. The designs are very similar. It follows the same kind of patterning that you'd see in the likes of Amarot. So it does look like it's ancient in origin, doesn't it? Almost, but not quite. But it was the first thing that popped into my mind the moment I saw it. And I can't really pull it out of my mind anymore. It just looks so familiar. It looks like something that would date back to then. But it's a key. Yeah, we know it's a key, but we don't know what it's a key for. I'm assuming it's unlocking that door. So, I'm assuming... she's handing it to a Mamulja. I'm assuming that Mamulja, based on the skin color, is Zoral Ja. So he's getting handed the key.
What is this relic of theirs? Who made it?
It's a relic.
And to what end?
And
I will be the next Dawn servant, and I'll protect my people's happiness to the last.
yeah, she's very loud, but I don't think she's going to get very far. Sorry. But just going back to the key, I think the key is opening this relic or key, whatever it is.
In the world is that?
Is opening this. I'd like to know the story of this little baby. I'm assuming this baby is accompanying Estinian, because we saw Estinian dancing with the little kids in Toral. But we don't know the story. And it proceeds on to whatever this key is. It's a MacGuffin of some kind. And then we get the trailer outro. And then we got to a point where everybody started losing their minds. Especially in my Discord. The guy next to Thancred.
What in the world is that?
Are you talking about him? My only opinion is it's Kawana. Although, if I looked at him very carefully, yeah, cause wait a minute. I'm only saying this now because we saw him literally 5 minutes ago when I was looking at the Crystal Tower. Is that Nero? Did Nero get wind of this City of Gold and he showed up in Toral? Is that Nero? It kind of looks like him. Now that I look at him. It looks like a Huron. He's very tall. He's almost as tall as Arianje. And Nero is almost that tall. Is that... It looks like Nero. Let me go back.
What in the world is that?
Yeah, and he has whitish hair. I think that's Nero. Ah. Hi, Miko. I think I'm probably... Maybe my vision is kind of obscured because of the fact that I just saw Nero a couple of minutes ago. But just looking at the way he stands, it looks like the way he stands. That could easily be him. Or it could be somebody else entirely. Like, is it entirely possible that's the ghost of Galaf Baldessian? He does look like a young Galaf. I mean, if we look at what Galaf Baldessian was... see, Galaf Baldessian. We never really got many images of Galaf Baldessian, did we? I mean, that could be, it could be him. It could be Galaf. I mean, we kind of know what happened to Galaf. But it's entirely possible. Entirely plausible. Kryl is in this cutscene as well, by the way. We can see her ears right there. But maybe, yeah. It could be Galaf. Maybe Galaf makes a return. Do we have a picture of the younger self? Yeah, but it doesn't really help much. Oh, yeah, that could actually be Galaf, considering Galaf is tying into the story somehow. It's very possible it could be Galaf. His hairstyle is reminiscent of Hancock's. In which other scene did you see him? Is it this scene? No. It's a nice scene though. Oh, you must be talking about back here.
Come on, which will decide who they...
No. Not here. Rue, do you have a timestamp for me to where you saw his back before? Oh, at the end. Yeah, so that was the last bit I wanted to talk about. So. Are you prepared to answer the call at 3:13? Ah. Warrior of Light, Estinian, Graha, Ernville, Urian J, Kryl, and there's somebody here. Can't make him out. Although you can see his head, kind of. Yeah, his head. Oh yeah. Yeah, his head's right there. So it's right here. His head's right there. Okay. Okay. Alright, let's go to this part as well.
With your strength.
Gallat did have mysteries here. We don't know what. So it could be a bombshell for him. Yeah.
Could you...
We don't know who this person is either. I've been speculating about who this guy is. Can I get a...
Could you...
I don't know who this guy is. I was assuming he was Galaf Baldessian as well, primarily because of the mustache and the beard. Might be a younger version of him, so this might be Galaf Baldessian as well.
Have held fast to that.
Oh yeah, you see, there he is with his back to us. Yeah, you might be right. It might be Galaf Baldessian. I mean, with all this talk about Galaf Baldessian, the Rogadin makes my Katamram theory slightly likelier. Is he a Rogadin?
Held fast.
I can't tell. Although his...
Could you...
Yeah, his nose. Look at that nose. Yeah, he's... Yeah, Godolph Sahur. This guy's a Rogadin. So this could be Katamram, yeah. Maybe Katamram did actually go back to Chirrell. He's an old man now. But he should be really old. Like, Katamram should be a really old guy by now. I mean, we know Grahatia alluded to the fact that he's gone. He didn't say he was dead, so there's no confirmation of his death. So this could be Katamram. But I'm not excluding the fact that the guy we saw was definitely not a Rogadin. His frame wasn't big enough. He's a very slender frame. He looked like a Nero. He was using Nero as model, essentially.
You have held fast to that which is dear.
Okay, Katamram. Yeah, so this is all mishmashed together, so.
Without sacrifice.
And that was Kawana, I'm fairly certain.
Without sacrifice.
Yep. Now, that scene in general, where she's talking about... Right, let's go over it fully once more, and then we'll talk about it.
with your strength? Could you have held fast to that which is dear without sacrifice?
Now, I wasn't getting anything from this, to be honest. I wasn't assuming anything. This is a piece of dialogue that's entirely out of place to what's being played on the screen. But a lot of people were starting to think, oh my god, we're going to lose somebody. We're not going to lose somebody. I don't think a Scion's going to die. We had this in the last expansion as well. People thought Scions were going to die as well. But a lot of people were suddenly freaking out that, oh my god, we're going to lose somebody because they're saying this. Have you ever gotten this way without sacrifice? It was a general question. Have you ever gotten to where we are now without sacrifice? And the answer is no. We have lost a lot of people along the way on our journey. So she's likely questioning us. Have we ever gotten as far as we have without sacrifice? No. The answer is no. We have lost friends. We have lost comrades along the way. But this is not saying that we're going to lose somebody now. It's just their way of teasing us, essentially. This is a teaser. Despite the fact that it's a full launch trailer, it's still a teaser. Mystery Daisy's dialogue is completely different to the JP trailer I heard. Talking about the plan being closer to completion as she has the key. Okay, so her dialogue is entirely different in Japanese. Now, I'm assuming that's subtitled. I hate ads. YouTube's ads are getting worse. Yeah, I have a feeling the landlord would give out about that. Okay. It's not in English.
鍵は今私の手元にあるんだから。
I don't know. I don't speak Japanese. And it's not subtitled. It's subtitled in Japanese, but that's just YouTube playing it over. It's not. Was the one in the live letter subtitled? It's a good question. Let's have a look. Live letter.
あ、こっちも。
そう、あゆみさんもだよね。
彼らが持っていた秘宝鍵とにあるんだから。
Same one. These stupid dolls freak me out. The Calcabrina dolls. Oh my god. When I saw them and I was just like, it's the entire thing. And we're looking at these two. They're freaky. I hate these things. I mean, people are like, they're cute and all. They look creepy as F. I wouldn't want those sitting on a shelf looking at me. I'd freak out. Go away with that. Alright, let's go back.
Peggy.
Now. But yeah, essentially, this is just entirely out of place. Nobody's going to die. We're not going to lose anybody. If you were going to lose somebody, it would have been an Endwalker, and we didn't. So, well, I say that. We actually lost people in Endwalker, but I don't think we're going to lose a Scion, so I don't think we have anything to worry about. But essentially, that's the entire trailer and everything I wanted to go through. In terms of characters, I don't think I missed anybody. Although we did get a few characters pop up. Yeah, so I've gone through the important ones. Koana's there as well, so let's look at Koana's tile as well. From Audrey on Twitter, the plans will be fulfilled. I have the key after all. Allegan bloodline, that's a key. I'm going to go with the Allegan theory again. Sorry, that's a key. It's a key in some form, although we did see the relic MacGuffin. So, Koana. Respected for his brilliant mind and practical attitude, this adoptive son of Terulion's ruling family hopes to usher his home into a new age of prosperity. It remains to be seen if technology and innovation will prove sufficient allies to overcome his fellow claimants in the right of succession. True, and we're assuming that this guy is the one who recruited the Archons. So we don't know that for sure. All we know is that the Archons were recruited but we don't know whether it was by him or by another claimant. Yeah, Rue, you're absolutely right. Like, think about how misconstructed often those final words were in Endwalker's trailer ending. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's entirely like people think that something's going to happen. It's just them just trying to
held
get
fast.
under our skin, essentially, just to say, like, yeah, you're probably going to lose somebody or expect something unexpected. But yeah, essentially, that's the entire trailer. So that's everything I wanted to go through. It was short and sweet, but the trailer had so much lore. And it's given us so many ideas about what possibly may happen or what could happen. And I'm still entirely convinced that these two are Kraal's parents and that Kraal comes from Tural, or specifically whatever this nation is that rules over Solution 9 and the Sea of Gold and etc. etc. I think we'll leave it there, to be honest. We've talked about pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about. I will stream again before DawnTrail. We'll go over the last bit of things. I'll probably stream in the downtime that we have, and we'll go over everything that we know and want to know just to get ready to go. And hopefully by the day of DawnTrail's early access launch, there's no DDoS attacks. I'm not going to go just yet. There's actually one more subject I want to talk about, and it's not even lore related. So a lot of people have been talking about this, the healer issue right now. You've probably all heard this. I don't pay much attention to the FF14 forums or Reddit or anything like that, but apparently a lot of people have been talking about people going on strike or something regarding healers or something. There was some forum thread that got a lot of traction, but it started people talking about healers in terms of FF14 and how much more irrelevant they're coming. I think a primary site for people was the group who killed top without any healers. So they used 3 tanks and 5 DPS to down an ultimate. So they didn't even need a healer, apparently. I don't know how they did this, I didn't watch it, but I heard the news. But it's resonating with me because I've been playing my Scholar a lot more over the past couple of months. And to be honest, even when I go into casual content, like do my daily expert, for example, or I go into a normal mode raid, I haven't been raiding in this tier. But any content, even the easy content I go into, like I know these things are subject to a power creep and stuff like that, like, but I've felt entirely irrelevant as a healer. Like, I remember a few weeks ago, I actually stopped paying attention to what I was doing and I died in an expert boss fight. And the group didn't even need me. The group went from 80% to killing the boss, and the healer, the tank was essentially a healer on his own. He was healing up and just doing his thing. And I felt entirely irrelevant, but I remember the post. Maybe I'll find the post. Let me find the post. The post had a few valid points. So, what was it? Healer strike. Yeah, so everybody's been talking about this. Healers going on strike over DawnTrail changes. So, yeah, I suppose in content like Criterion you'd feel needed, but in other content people are starting to feel like healers are in a very bad place right now, because I can kind of understand that. I mean, our DPS rotation for me, for example, is my Dot and Broil. That's my DPS rotation. Pretty boring, but healers are designed to heal first and foremost, despite the fact that the FF14 trend has them being more DPS these days. But it's mostly out of the fact that we're not really needed for anything. But I think the post elaborated on that a lot of our toolkit, a lot of our survivability has gone into the tanks and other roles. So the need for a healer has been diminished by the survivability of like the tank jobs, because the tanks are just capable of surviving and healing themselves. I'm not sure if you've watched a warrior run through a dungeon. But like, aside from picking up all the trash and doing that, but even picking up all the trash between bosses and doing that, they do it with no problem. They barely even need me. I stand there doing Art of War, and I'm literally like this throughout the entire encounter, and then I pop up a shield and I apply my my X-Cog, and I just like this for the rest of the time, and my X-Cog never gets popped. It's on the tank and it never gets popped, and I brushed it aside, just going, you know what, it's just, this is old content now, and it's an expert. Everybody's very well geared, and warriors I already knew were kind of mad on their own. But I can kind of see where people are coming from now, in the fact that healers are just in a weird place right now. And I can't really describe it. It's just that I agree with the sentiment in that a lot of their toolkits have gone into the other jobs. Like, the tanks have become far too able to survive and heal themselves, that it's made the healer superfluous to requirements, essentially. And that top kill is a prime example of killing the fight with 3 tanks and 5 DPS. It's a freaking ultimate, for crying out loud. And they killed it without a healer. I mean, if that doesn't make you realize that healers are entirely irrelevant to the cause, I don't know what will. I mean, you wouldn't be able to do that fight with 3 healers and 5 DPS. As far as I'm aware, I'm sure somebody's going to do it. But the fact that they did that just made me realize it's weird. And it's honestly made me kind of happy that I decided not to go Scholar and decided to go Pictomancer. Although I'm still on the fence about it. Yeah, the healer's just, it's just not the best of arguments. Yeah, I guess so. I'm not an expert on ultimates, to be honest. But the fact that you're able to do that top content without a healer is interesting in and of itself. I'm sure these are top players. I haven't watched the video. I'm sure they're top players who don't get hit by anything unnecessary, and they're mitigating exactly as they need to, and etc, etc, etc. But it's a testament to the fact that the tanks are going through everything without a healer, and they're capable of healing themselves, which, in my opinion, allowing tanks to heal themselves like the warrior is utterly ridiculous. Like, I played warrior in 2.0, right, the entirety of Realm Reborn, so I rated it with that. Warrior was crap back then for the first couple of patches, and then it got good. Then Heaven's Ward, it turned out really good, but Heaven's Ward is the entirety of the thing. But I wasn't an unkillable thing. Like, I could easily be killed. I can remember that. And then they just kept getting tankier, and then having the ability to heal themselves. And then when you look at them in the dungeon, they're just ridiculous. In that the more mobs you throw at them, the more they're going to heal it. And I literally sit there DPSing because I've nothing else to do. If I had to heal the guy, I'd probably be happier. But I literally stand there spamming my one AoE spell. And apparently I'm going to get a second AoE spell in DawnTrail, I think. But that's, speaking of which, we should get the notes soon, actually. But I mainly wanted to talk about that because I had noticed that the subject had come up a lot. And even a lot of the mainstream gaming news sites have picked up on it. Like, the fact that it got so much traction, I think, is what surprised everybody. This would have been brushed under the rug if it wasn't for the fact that people came out of the woodwork to support the idea. Healer, yeah, Sage was your first healer, then you realise healer wasn't a cup of tea. Say healer isn't everybody's cup of tea, like, it's different, but right now it just feels awkward because it's literally borderline surplus to requirements, where people would probably be better off bringing a third tank. This reminds me of the beginning of A Realm Reborn, where raid groups would take 2 paladins because warrior was utterly stupid, and rather than take a warrior and a paladin, which were the only 2 tanks then, by the way, they took 2 paladins instead. And the only reason my group raided warriors because I was in charge of the group. But yeah, players lock onto stuff like this. Like, people are constantly metagaming the game, constantly striving for the next best thing. And being able to do stuff like that by raiding with no healer is, well, it's endgame. It's like the 1% of the 1% will had the skill to do something like that. A standard group with casuals will never be able to do that. But it just goes to show you. Like, that fight was likely a gimmick. It's not an everyday thing. 99% of groups would never be able to do that kill. But it just goes to show that a lot of people have been unhappy about healers. And this pushed it over the edge. And that person doing that one post about striking and not healing. What was their argument again? Let me read the article again. So... Jeez, they have to elaborate on about just crap, don't they? Let's see. This is probably not the right article to do, so or this is probably the article here, isn't it? Oh, that's the article. Okay, let me read this article. So, petition for hashtag ff14 healer strike. So, manifesto. Self-sustain and healing abilities given to other roles. Which I agree with. Like, I just said it a minute ago. Tanks are far too... They have too much ability to survive on their own without a healer. Which is stupid. It encroaches the healer role. So I fully agree with that. Oversimplified DPS rotation. Again, as I said, my job, for prime example, it has a dot... It has a single target and it has an AoE. We're getting more of it. This is a reportable defense, isn't it? I don't know if it's a reportable defense. I'm not sure, to be honest. Okay, homogenization of healer jobs. There's no individuality across the jobs in the healer role to give them a sense of identity. Seraphism mode change is angelic opposed to Fae. Now, Rue, I know you don't like Seraphism, so it is what it is. Don't start going mad about that. I can't speak to this because I only play White Mage and Scholar. However, I probably will agree to it to a point where the healers do kind of feel similar to each other despite the fact they're two different jobs. It doesn't feel like two DPS which feel entirely different to each other. Like Dancer and Samurai feel different to me. White Mage and Scholar kind of feel the same, primarily because their DPS rotations are almost identical. So if I switch to White Mage, if I actually, do I even have it here? Remember? Yeah, there it is. So my DPS rotation is essentially the same. So I have my Dot, and I have my Glare, and I have my Holy. So my DPS rotation on Scholar and White Mage are entirely identical. I think the other two jobs have their own DPS rotations. Like Sage has its own unique mechanics, of course. So I can kind of agree with the homogenization of healer jobs, yeah. Excessive off global cooldown heals. There is not only an abundant but exceptionally powerful. Or these are not only abundant but exceptionally powerful. In this addition to self-sustain on other roles reduces the dynamics of healing comrades. I guess I can kind of agree with you. I'm glad you're not mad about the Seraphism route. It's just a pair of wings, don't let it get you. We're eating a fairy and then using it as our own. Just think of it like that. Lack of threat level in nearly all forms of content. Healers should feel like they have a plan in all forms of content. It is understandable the difficulty can't be so great as to bar progression of story-based content, agreed. However, innovation means should still be employed to make greater full use of abilities. I fully agree with that. From my memory of Savage raids from the beginning of Endwalker and the entirety of Shadowbringers, I can't really recall the healer not doing anything except heal. Like, there wasn't a lot of status effects that needed to be cleared. Like, if they increased the number of status effects or increased the volume of status effects, I think healers would have a much harder job. And it would actually probably be a lot nicer. They'd have to plan their route, so they have to cleanse these people. Like, it's like with the what you call it? It's like Wyrm Vale, the first boss of Wyrm Vale, where the poisons stack until you have to eat the fruit. Like, you could have mechanics like that. We don't really have mechanics like that anymore in raiding, or at least I can't remember one that was like that. And if it ever did come up, it was something that couldn't be cleansed or anything else like that, or you just had to heal through it. So I could kind of agree with that. So more dynamic content for healers. Like, right now, healers are spending most of their time DPSing because they don't really need to heal anymore. Give them more jobs to do. If there's stuff to cleanse, if there's other things that they have to actually plan around. Like, there's going to be a massive need to cleanse in about 10 seconds. Everybody's going to get this debuff. And it's going to start ticking everybody down. We're not going to be able to heal through it. I'm going to cleanse. You continue healing the main tanks. Okay. Stuff like that. Like, I don't think healers really need to talk to each other anymore. I think a friend of mine actually told me that. He doesn't really need to talk to his partner anymore because there's nothing really to do. This strike is a protest. As such, it is not intended to disrupt the game or the players who are subscribed to FF14. The message of the strike is a collective voice of those who are not happy with the state of healing and healers in FF14. Players supporting the strike wish to hold a development team and Square Enix accountable on their promise to provide a fulfilling and enjoyable experience for everyone. The activity of the players supporting the strike has chosen not to participate in duties as the healer role. Most supporters are still going to actively participate in duties, meaning they're still contributing to the community, just not as a healer. So that's essentially it. So they're going on strike and they're not playing healer in dailies or stuff like that. Hashtag FF14 healer strike is in a player search comments expresses their support of it. I don't really look at. Actually, I'm going to try that now. Let's have a look. Right, I'm on the Phoenix server right now. So let me have a look at that. Let's see if anybody's done that. I think I have to look for. How do I look for? No, that's. Alright, there we go. Somebody. I'd say somebody who's actively on a healer at the moment. So. Spell the crowd. No. Ah. Yeah, that's it. So somebody who's on a healer job at the moment. Oh, it doesn't show stuff like that from. So reverse. If you search it. You always get some funny comments when people search it. No. Okay. So far, nobody. Maybe they are referring to Twitter hashtags. I thought they were referring to in-player search comments expresses their support to it. So I thought that they referred to search comments. Yeah, because these are search comments. So I assume most people aren't actually getting that. Let me adjust the search conditions to be. I want to find at least one person who's doing it. But it's a lot of healers, isn't it? No, come on. There has to be one person out there. Come on. Somebody who's AFK right now. Oh, poor guy. Come on. I'm not stopping until I find someone. I'm stuck on this now. Yeah, it could be an NA thing, exactly. Dang it. My house got demolished. That's supposed to be paying. Oh, poor guy. Okay. You really cannot in any way search for a player in game with a healer main character. Yeah, that's really because you can't pick a healer main. So. Oh, come on. There has to be one person. Just let me be happy, please. I just want to find one person doing this. Come on. Do you know what? Let's go with the role players. Do you know what? And you know where the role players are on Phoenix? They're in... Yeah, we're going to customize this. Limsa Laminsa. So, are there any casual healers in Limsa Laminsa right now who are viewing this tag? Come on. Unga bunga. Yeah, check Balmonk. See if anybody has a... You know Balmonk, they'd love to do that sort of stuff. Come on. One person, please. Heal P8. Never again. P healer is not that bad, Copium. Oh, see, he's got, like, he's pissed off at healer. But... Ah, nope. Come on, Limsa, you're letting me down here. Cowabunga it is. I'm skipping over a lot of names. I really shouldn't be skipping over a lot of names. Let me just go through the names one at a time. Bow bow. I really wish this interface would change. That would show your comments here. Just to make it easier. Instead of having to right click everybody. It would make search comments so much more digestible. Guys, I'm sorry, I'm locked in now. If I don't find it, I'm not going to be happy. Can I click the text? Oh, yeah. Oh, I can hover over it. Or no, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Well, nobody in Limsa was able to do it for me, so... where would the top people hang out? So they'd be in... Yeah, let's try Charlene. Let's see if anybody in Charlene is doing. Not many healers there. Okay. Please look after yourself. Or don't. I'll do it for loot. Okay. I solemnly swear... Oh, okay. Harry Potter reference. I left my heart at the Crystarium. Okay. Dang it. Oh, we're going with world again. Thavnir. Yes, Thavnir. That's the one. That's the ticket. Where's Thavnir? Thavnir. Oh, it's under Ilsebark. Yeah, there we go. Come on. One person. Just like 5 healers in Thavnir. God damn it. Trying a new style of adventure play. Okay, I'm gonna view their adventure play. Yeah, that's a nice adventure play. Yeah. You're getting I like the adventurer's play. I'm not gonna be happy until I do this. I'm locked in now. It's like when you have an earworm and you can't put it down. This is gonna be my entire night, isn't it? Looking for one person with a goddamn hashtag. And I don't even use Twitter. Come on, one of you. One person, please. A lot of these people are the people I went through, so I already went through. Yeah. Why do I do this to myself? I'm obsessed. Cake. I want cake. I want bloody cake now, do you know? I think after this is done, and after I end this stream, I'm ordering cake. Or I think I have cake in the fridge, actually. Cute. Serve. Oh, God. Clicking on search comments is dangerous. High tension Japanese goblin. Okay. Did you know the Art of War is a gain on 2? Huh? That was a scholar that said that. I don't know. Please. I'm gonna cry if you don't give me one tag. So obviously people are talking about this subject, but they're not actively supporting it in the search comments. But search comments have never been a big thing. I think a lot of people wouldn't even remember how to interact with search comments. Because you have to search for your own name in order to update your own search comment. It's always been a word. Yeah, Balmung doesn't have it either. Mingo, it was worth a try, to be honest. But I'm not stopping. And you know what? I'll probably put it in my own damn description just to make myself feel better. Because I didn't find anybody. I'm assuming one of you can look at Twitter. How... I'm assuming you search by these tags, so is that tag trending on Twitter? I'd be interested to know that. Also, this started a few days ago. Was it actually brought up in the live letter? I'm assuming it wasn't. I'm not sure they'd ever bring something like that up in a live letter, but... to be honest, it brought back memories for me. Hearing people strike. The only time other time I've seen people strike in a game over being upset was... I suppose I'll tell the story while I'm looking. So, the only other time I've ever heard players strike was EVE Online, and this was many years ago. So, in EVE Online many years ago, an expansion was launched in EVE Online called Incarnate. So, Incarnate was an expansion that introduced walking in stations. So it allowed you to have a customized avatar that you walked around in a station room, but it was very clunky and it was very laggy and it wasn't what the players wanted. But worse is the fact that the developers of EVE Online, CCP, I know it's getting itchy now, so I know I'm talking too much. Now, the developers of EVE Online started selling cosmetics for the first time ever. Well, it wasn't the first time ever, but they started selling cosmetics for your character in game. So for example, the cosmetics they sold were really obnoxious. So for example, your character, which you'd only see in this small room, for example, or dressing up your avatar, you could put a pair of boots on it, which cost like €15. A jacket might cost €25. An infamous thing was a t-shirt for your character that you'd only show on your avatar and you'd only see for yourself inside the small room. The t-shirt in-game cost €25. And it was actually more expensive than the actual real EVE Online t-shirt that you'd buy off the EVE Online store. I remember that coming up. And the players started to lose their shit, essentially. Like, they were getting really annoyed at CCP. And they started to voice their frustrations at CCP. It was called Monocle Gate as well, because another item that was for sale was a single implant that would go over your avatar's eye, and that cost €75. And people were pissed off. So people started getting annoyed at CCP. But it all hit the fan a couple of days later when CCP Games' developer, one of their internal magazine memos was released to the public. And if I recall, it was a magazine called Fearless, and the title was Greed is Good, the Gordon Gekko edition. I'll probably be able to look it up. Hang on. I really should be keeping looking for this. So, EVE Online, Greed is Good. Yeah, so this magazine released Greed is Good, the Gordon Gekko issue. And they started talking about how they can monetize and essentially drain the players for everything they've got, because they're going all through the mentality of, oh, players will spend loads of money in game on their characters. It makes sense that they buy like lovely leather jackets for themselves and stuff like that. They started going into all sorts of stuff like this, and people lost their shit. And the players literally went on strike. So what they did was, in game, they all gathered in Jeddah, which is the main trading hub of EVE Online, and they started shooting a statue with their ships. And this lagged out the server severely, so that people could barely get anything done in Jeddah, and Jeddah is the main trade hub. But, like, Monocle Gate is remembered for that, but what really affected CCP at this point is that the players decided to get back at their greed by cancelling their subscriptions. So thousands of players instantaneously cancelled their subscriptions because the essentially the developers were not listening to them. An internal memo leaked a couple of days later saying, alright, the players are getting annoyed at us, but this is just resistance, they'll pass. And the players got even more pissed. So they all started to cancel their subscriptions. And the result of it was, CCP had to, I think they had to fire like 20% of their staff because their revenue went down so severely because they pissed off their player base. So that's the only other strike I can remember. Now this isn't something nearly as gross. Like this is healer mains essentially going, we're not happy, we want action to be taken, but it's in the same spirit. They want the developers to listen to them. Now, worst case scenario is that an internal memo for Square Enix Creative Studio 3 is released and like we're not listening to the players. Players will get pissed off then, but that's not going to happen. The developers of FF14 will listen to us, and I think we will see some results from this. I think it will be referenced by Naoki Yoshida. Like, he has come forward and referenced a number of different things that have affected the game. He referenced the DDoS attacks, for example. So I think he will come to us regarding a solution for healers, or he will take our feedback into account. Primarily because this is getting such traction all over the internet. I'd be surprised if he hasn't heard about it. But he's not going to come to us with false promises or just said, alright, we've heard you, we're going to look into it. He's probably looking into it right now. But he's not going to say anything until they have an answer. So he'll bring it to his developers and just go, right, the players are getting annoyed. They don't think healer is fun anymore. This is something we need to address. Are we going the right direction? That sounds like something that Creative Studio 3 would do. They're ones that always admit their mistakes. So, just because there's probably not been an official word from Square Enix yet in this regard, doesn't mean they haven't heard us. I think they've heard us loud and clear. Primarily because this story has gotten so much traction. But they're not going to give us a response until they have something to show for it. It's not going to be Yoshi P turning to us and just go, yeah, we've heard you, we'll work on it. That's not a Yoshi P response. Yoshi P will only come back to us when he has something to share. So they'll look at it, they'll review it, they'll workshop it, and they'll come back to us with a solution when they have a solution. Right now, they probably don't have a solution to the players' woes, or maybe they're waiting until DawnTrail releases. Don't forget, we've only seen bits and pieces of the healers. Until we get the full patch notes, we don't know exactly what's going to happen. Or with the jobs for that matter. We've seen the new additions for jobs, but we haven't seen the full meat and potatoes because we haven't gotten the patch notes. For all we know, the patch notes for 7.0 will address all of this. Or maybe they'll add it into the hotfixes they're going to make shortly after 7.0. We know they are going to work on certain jobs after 7.0 launches, like in 7.2. But I think the crux of it is the player's a bit hurt. But we're not just going to get a fake promise. And I'm giving up because I'm not finding a tag, and it's driving me nuts now. I'm looking through everybody's tags and there's no tags here. Nobody's doing this. They're all supporting here. Like, look at the... There's over 100 pages. So... There's 215 pages, right? So let's go to... how many posts per page? So this is 2,111. Alright, I suppose I could just go to the last one. So there's been... Yeah, so there's been over 2,146 posts on this thing. Now, a lot of these posts are back and forth from both sides of the camp. So essentially, you have the right versus the left, and they're all clashing together. Like, some people are agreeing with the post saying that healers are in a bad place by now, and the rest of them are going, healers are fine, you know what you're talking about. And they're talking shop as well. So I'll keep posting straw man arguments as I think of them. It helps to give a springboard for the deeper issues hidden under the straw. It's fair, I guess. Bringing up ideas for people to talk about, that's not too bad. But I like the fact that it got a lot of traction. Join the resistance. Oh, say there's a Discord for this. I'm not going to join this, but I'm just going to click on it. It has 116 members. No, sorry, it has 212 members and 116 of them are online. So there's not too many people in that Discord, but I'm assuming they're taking the conversation there. But I think the main conversation is happening here on the forum. And I like the fact that there's a big, giant discussion happening on the forum. The forum has been pretty neglected over the years. So. But I think I'll leave it there. That was my big, giant rant that went on longer than it should have. But I'm glad everybody's joined me today. And we've got the full weekend ahead of us. Most of you are probably going to have the weekend off. If you don't, just relax. Enjoy your break while you have it. But I think we'll leave it there. Edit to add Manifesto, edit to add official Discord, edit to add compulsory. Well, they've got a nice posting mentality. They have 5,760 posts. Holy crap. Okay, fair enough. This person has a lot of posts. No dice on niche either, so nobody's using these tags. But most of the time, people forget that there's even a comment function, to be honest. So, you're resubbing to the game this weekend. I got some stuff to do. Yeah, everybody's resubbing. Primarily because everybody's starting to organize their inventories. So, for example, I'm organizing my inventory at the moment. My saddlebags are clear. So my saddlebags are essentially ready to go. I'll get rid of the rest of this. I need to clean my inventory a bit more. It's full of a bunch of junk. I'll get rid of the currencies and stuff like that. I'll put that in my retainer. Most of the material will go. These materials for crafting low level items I will hold on to because I craft low level sub 50 items all the time. I keep the market happy. I need to organize my armory and stuff like that, I think. So I think I largely organized it already. So I've cleared up a lot of space. But as I mentioned in the previous stream, I am going into DawnTrail with minimum gear. So, for example, I have my scholar here with all grey. So I'm going to play through DawnTrail with grey gear on my Pictomancer. So I'm going to pick out a full set of 88 or 90 caster gear. I'm going to equip the Pictomancer with it. So that way every item I gain from every dungeon or every quest will be an upgrade that I'll be able to use, and I'll be much happier for it. It means I'll have to glamour things constantly, but I'll enjoy myself. But I'm still on the fence as well. Like, I still kind of want to level my scholar, and I also kind of don't want to. So, but I still have time. Like, I'll probably complete the main story in a week or so. And then maybe I'll level my scholar right after, because I do need to grind, because we're going to get a third round of shared fates, I'm assuming. So I will want to grind my gemstones out. Remind me to spend these, actually. So all that's done. That eye level will prohibit you from joining a dungeon, unfortunately. Yeah, but I'll get a few upgrades at the start. Yeah? And if I need to, I'll put some 90 gear on. But mostly I just wanted to go to the main story with that. I wanted to be more of a challenge, because I was tired of steamrolling through Endwalker, getting all these items and chests, like this chest here. I'd be getting loads of these, and I'd never use them. And it kind of annoyed me. And then all the gear I get through the dungeons, I'd never use. Not till, I think it was like when I was 85 before I had to use something. And then I started to enjoy myself, because all the upgrades mattered. But I want to get that feeling from the get-go. So, looking forward to that. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there, because I am frankly starving now. I haven't eaten since lunch. So, everybody, enjoy your weekends. And I'm going to stream again before DawnTrail in the void. So, once the servers go down and then the patch is being deployed, I will stream then and we'll go through everything again. But otherwise, I'm going to work on my next video. As I said, I've already pulled the plug on my other one. The only thing I ask from Yoshi now is a second extension to the dresser. I got those slots full and on my dungeon raid gear. See, a lot of people were talking about that. I recall a few friends were talking about the dressers in the FedEU just recently. Like, half the people were of the opinion that they didn't need any more dresser slots because they barely used them. And then the other camp was like, I need dresser slots because I don't have enough. I'm halfway between, because I think my dresser is half full but it's not full of everything. It's full of stuff that would go with my onion helm essentially, but that's it. But I did collect a lot of stuff that would possibly be utilized. Like, I collected a lot of gear that would one day have a secondary dye on them that look okay right now, but they'll look much better with a secondary dye. So instead of me having to collect them, so that's something you can do between now and DawnTrail. If you wanted to farm some gear that you will eventually use in the future for your character, that may look good, like it may look amazing in your character, but the dyes don't even look good right now. But we're not going to be able to dye Endworker gear until much later. Like right when DawnTrail launches, we can only dye DawnTrail gear. Dresser slots is fine, I just need more plates. Oh, you're talking about... Wait, what are you talking about? More plates? Are you talking about adventurer plates? I don't think... No. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Anyway. Right, I'm gonna go. So everybody, enjoy your weekend, and... yeah. That's it. Enjoy your weekend. Have a restful weekend, and enjoy yourselves. Get ready for DawnTrail. Do what you need to do. Get all your work out of the way. Oh, glamour place is what you're talking about. I don't use any glamour place. But I'm very simple when it comes to glamour. So, my glamour rarely changes because of the helm. Everybody, have a good time. I'll see you later.